Hey all, this is 012Boku coming at you with another show review in the spoiler zone. And we are back to, sorry it's been a while, but Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood Part 1. Oh yes, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood Part 1. We are back to it. Sorry I've not reviewed in a while again. Just time, work, told you guys with the last one about my injury and all that stuff that was taking place. So sorry it took me a while to get back to this, but we are starting with episode of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, the Fifth Laboratory. And again, this is where it starts to deviate from the main plot a little bit and where it rushes it because there was a bit more structure in the original anime. I liked it. I liked it a lot more in the original anime, but I will save that for later, and probably even when I do the review, because it's a lot to go over. But it starts with Edward Elric, Romy Paku, Vic Mignogna, the voices, fighting off against a man named number 48, who's voiced by Dai Matsumoto, and Bill Jenkins, who is a killer known as Slicer, and he's fighting off against Edward Elric, and trying to get the one up on him, trying to beat him, but Edward keeps coming back with a lot of his own moves, but Slicer does eventually get the upper hand. Edward is using his auto mail arm, and something's going on. The arm isn't responding, and it's that part that Winry missed to put in there. But he's doing what he can to fight back. Slicer's getting the one up on him though, and Edward makes a deal with Slicer because he finds out the truth that Slicer is a person, a soul in a piece of disembodied armor, or a disembodied soul in a piece of armor, much like his brother Alphonse Elric. And Edward actually makes a deal with Slicer, saying if he defeats him, he'll get the truth about the Fifth Laboratory from him. And of course, Slicer number 48 accepts this. We also then go to Alphonse Elric, where he's fighting off against Barry the Chopper. So Alphonse Elric, Rie Kugamiya, Maxie Whitehead, and number 66, who's Barry the Chopper, voiced by Hideyuki Umezu and Jerry Jewell. And what I like about it is, they're like going at each other. Alphonse actually has a big upper hand on Barry. Like, his martial arts skill is way faster than Barry's wild chopping skill. And Barry's a good chopper, but he's really sporadic and swinging and what he needs to do with it. So Edward's able to repel him. And we find out a part where Alphonse is able to repel him, repel him. And we find out where, while Alphonse is facing Barry, he knocks his head off, and Alphonse learns the truth about Barry the Chopper as well. He learns that he's a soul in a piece of disembodied armor, just like him. And, Barry thinks Alphonse is a prisoner there. Alphonse is like, no, I'm not a prisoner. My brother bonded me to this armor. And that's where Barry starts his mindfuck in many ways with Alphonse, just so he could get the upper hand with Alphonse in this fight because he was losing. And he basically says, how do you know you're real? Your brother could have created you, put your, found a soul, put you in there, made up your memories, your friends, everything is fake, which sends Alphonse Elric in a tizzy. Why Barry the Chopper is telling him this, a guard comes in to tell Alphonse and Barry to put his hands up. Barry just kills the guard outright, and that's how Barry says, I know who I am. I kill, therefore I am. So Barry the Chopper, a very sick, very individual. There was more to him in the old anime where Alphonse and Edward Elric got to meet Barry the Chopper before this happened to him. Like Edward was focusing on a case, and Alphonse had just discovered the Philosopher's Stone that they could use to get their bodies back. So, it was still telling the prequel story of the Elric brothers, but I thought it built on the show way more better. But in this one, just like in the manga, mind you, I have read this part of the manga, and in the manga, we just hear the backstory of Barry the Chopper, and that's it. Like this little sort of funny but yet creepy cartoon of Barry cutting meat and then killing up a lot of people, or cutting up a lot of people, killing them. And while this is going on, we have a quick little scene of Roy Mustang, Shinichiro, Mickey, Travis Willingham, and Maze Hughes, Keiji Fujiwara, Sonny Strait, just talking about it starts with Maze Hughes talking about his family, telling Mustang about his daughter, and then about his wife. You have Mustang getting upset, saying, why did you call? And then Maze Hughes goes, all right, Colonel. Well, then we could talk about your little love interest, Scar. And, they go up and talk about how they haven't found the body of Scar. They found a whole bunch of other decomposed dead bodies that they can't identify yet, but there's no trace of Scar or anything that happened in the explosion. And, it's sort of like a dead end. But you also learn from Roy Mustang that he wants to move up the ladder, and Mace Hughes says, well, take it from me. You want to get allies that are close to you, and that will be there to have your back so you can keep climbing the ladder. Because if you become, because Roy Mustang, his goal is to become Fuhrer, and if it becomes Fuhrer at a very young age, Mace Hughes knows Roy Mustang is going to make a lot of enemies. We go back to the before we go back to the fight with the Elric brothers, we have Maria Ross, Kaori Nazuka, Meredith McCoy, and Denny Brosh, Yuki Hayashi, Jim Ferrunda, who found out that the Elrics had stuck out of their room. Brosh is freaking out, and Ross is saying, let's go after them. Let's get to the 5th laboratory. So they start to go after them as well. And then we return to the fight with Edward, Elric, and Slicer, and they're still going at it. Edward is getting injured. He's having a hard time fighting back, and he actually starts getting worried, thinking he can't win. But all of a sudden, he is still explaining to Slicer about his younger brother, and then he tricks him and he says, do it out now. Slicer looks, and then Edward knocks off Slicer's head. And, he notices that Slicer is just sort of laying there with his head where the blood seal was. And he thinks that Slicer shouldn't move. And we find out that, Edward starts to ask Slicer, okay, give up your information. And Slicer's like, oh, you haven't defeated me yet. And Edward's like, wait, what do you mean? And then all of a sudden, the body of the armor starts, attacking him and coming at him. And we learn that where the older brother of Slicer is the head on the helmet, the body of Slicer is the younger brother, because there's the Slicer brothers, and the younger brother, who's voiced by Kenji Nojima and Duncan Brannon, starts fighting him, and they start coming at him huge and big time, and Edward's getting more cut up. Edward is forced up against the back of the wall, and all of a sudden you have the younger Slicer brother just run at him, saying he's not going to give him time to transmute, so he's going to run the katana right through Edward, killing him. Edward is saying, oh my god, this is it, I'm going to die, and then all of a sudden he sees that Slicer's stance reminds him of Scar. So he uses his transmutation on the younger Slicer brother's body, making the body break in half, so the younger brother Slicer can't do anything. The older brother Slicer is shocked and wondering how they could be defeated. And then Edward does a funny thing. There's not 3 of you, are there? And they're like, no. But the older brother Slicer says, "Okay, well, we'll tell you what you want, or or no, we'll tell you what you want to know, but then just kill us." And Edward's like, "No, I can't kill you. That would be just like my brother. My brother's still a living person. I know he's just a soul inside of an armor, but he's still a living being, so I'm not going to kill you." The older Slicer brother, number 48 Elder, is amused by this. He starts laughing and says, "Okay, I will give you the information what you know, because this is the first time me and my brother have been called human, so I'll let you know like what goes on in this laboratory." All of a sudden, out of nowhere, these long fingers come and sort of skewer the older brother Slicer's helmet, and the older brother Slicer's in pain because his blood seal's been hit, and the younger Slicer and Edward Elric are shocked, and it's Lust who came out of nowhere, Kikuko Inoue and Laura Bailey, and says, "That's enough, Full Metal Boy. We thought you were getting too close, and now number 48, we can't have you telling him everything." So that becomes a huge issue in many ways, and we also see that Envy, Manami Takayama, Wendy Powell is here, and he's giving his whole thing to Edward, saying, "You can't know things," and what happens is Lust basically cracks the elder Slicer's helmet in two, killing him. You have the younger Slicer screaming out for his brother, wanting help, but he can't do anything. All of a sudden, Envy comes over and just starts stabbing the blood seal over and over again, killing the younger brother Slicer completely, and their souls are basically back to the condemned, or in heaven, or wherever they were. I would say probably condemned, considering they were killers, but back to the condemned lands of hell. And you have Edward wanting to know what's going on, and all of a sudden, Edward claps his hands to do an instant transmutation without the circle. All of a sudden, his arm just falls, and he's like, "What?" And you have Envy just come up and go, "Hey, lucky me!" And and Envy just releases a big, huge knee right in the gut of Edward, knocking him out. And Lust basically goes, "Remember, boy, we're letting you live. You're an important sacrifice after all." So it goes back to Alphonse Elric still fighting with Barry the Chopper. Barry the Chopper's still laying it on thick that Edward has, no memories, that he's just a construct, a thing of creation. He's not a real human boy or anything. And, Alphonse is just getting upset, like Barry the Chopper's gotten in his head. He can't take it. All of a sudden, Maria Ross and Denny Brosh show up outside, guns drawn, and Barry the Chopper's getting annoyed. But then all of a sudden, the fifth laboratory explodes, sending it in every bit of direction, and just huge explosions outside, and people are just getting scared, frightened, wondering what's going on. They can't understand a lot of things. Like, because, oh yeah, I think I just said that, sorry, I'm repeating myself. The prisoners are getting scared. They're wondering why there's a big explosion. They're yelling at the guards to let him out. Hey, it's an earthquake. We're gonna die in here. And then all of a sudden, you hear Sulf J. Kimbley laughing in his cell, saying, "If this reminds me of the Ishvaral War, that's an explosion. I'm excited." The guard tells him to settle down, and Kimbley's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guard. I just got excited. This makes me happy to hear the sound." And Sulf J. Kimbley is voiced by, probably said it before if I haven't, but Hiroyuki Yoshino and Eric Vale. And, so there's him reliving those glory days. As the fifth laboratory is exploding, Envy kicks out part of the wall, carrying Edward. And, Envy in his whole way of being sarcastically evil says, "Well, you better take care of him. He's lost a lot of blood. You better be there to take care of him, Alphonse, or else he's not going to be around much longer." So basically just sort of setting up the bait to have Alphonse take care of his brother more so they don't lose their important sacrifice. Maria Ross and Denny Brosh are trying to help Edward. Maria Ross tries to tell Envy, you got to get out of here too, but they notice Envy's already gone and he left already. So, they're running away from the building as it's about to come down. And as it's coming down, Maria Ross, Denny Brosh, who's carrying Edward Elric, are running. And Alphonse is in the middle of them. And Alphonse is still thinking about what Barry the Trapper said. And that's where the episode ends. And what's the important characters of note, I would say again, both Elric brothers, Romy Paku, Vic Mignogna, Rie Kugamiya, Maxie Whitehead were on point. Very great characters, very entertaining, good stuff. I would also have to say that one that sticks out to me a lot too, I would have to say is, number 66, Barry the Chopper, Hideyuki Umezu, and Jerry Jewell. Their just whole psychotic play and mind fuck with Alphonse Elric was great. And, their acting was superb. They had great moments of comedy when they found out Alphonse is also a disembodied soul inside a piece of armor. And, like Barry the Chopper's reactions were like all cartoony, like, like he says, you're not scared and gonna go, how could you exist like that? But as soon as Alphonse takes his helmet off and there's something there, he's like, how did you get like that? And it's like, both Hideyuki Umezu and Jerry Jewell played that out perfect. Hideki Umezu is good. The voice sounds more sadistic than crazy. Jerry Jewell gives off a very crazy, like, psychotic person playing Barry the Chopper. So I have to say I give the edge to Jerry Jewell, but both actors were really good in playing the role. Final thoughts on the episode. The action was very good. The way they moved the story was really good. It sticks very close to the original anime and what the manga has. Definitely better sticking it close to the manga, but to the original anime with the Fifth Laboratory, after Lust and Envy kill the Slicer brothers, you have Envy and Lust take Edward down further to the basement to where they actually show him how to make a Philosopher's Stone and where they want to make one out of a bunch of prisoners. And, that part is so cool. I won't go into it now because like I said, when we're done with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood Part 1 and Part 2, I do want to get more of these, we're going to do the original Fullmetal Alchemist run next, is how we'll do it. And, I can't wait for that. But that's how it does. So it does move things along. We do, Edward does learn of the homunculi now. He knows they're existing. He may not know exactly what they are, but you get to learn more as the episodes move on, and the plot thickens because we know they learn about the Fifth Laboratory, but nothing is discovered since the laboratory is destroyed by Envy and Lust. So overall, a good episode. I like what they did in the original anime more, but again, there's a lot here to go for. It's entertaining. It's good stuff. Can't really hate on it. Good episode. I liked it. And I like the performances. And Jerry Jewell's performance as Barry the Chopper, I absolutely love. Like I said, Hideyuki Umezu does a great job himself. And, overall, a good episode. But what do you guys think? Did you like, do you guys, again, watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood? Have you seen Episode 8, The Fifth Laboratory? And if so, just leave a comment down below and tell me about what you thought about the episode and if you liked it or whatnot. Well, until then, this is 012Boku coming at you with another episode in the spoiler zone for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I will see you guys later. Deuces.